Okay guys, so I am about to organize my vanity and declutter and do a little bit of cleaning. And so I'm not sure how I'm about to do this, but I'm embarrassed, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the before. And yeah, here it is. It's a mess, it's a mess, it's a mess. And the drawers are, those are eyeshadow palettes, foundation drawer. I mean, everything is just thrown in here. Powders. I mean, everything is just a mess. Okay, everything is a mess. So I need to declutter and get some organizing done. I bought a couple more of these I don't know if you can see it or not, but I bought a couple more of these acrylic organizers from Target. These were actually on sale for $20 at Target, and they actually hold a lot of makeup. So I have about 5 of them already. Well, 1 2 3 4, I don't know, about 4 of them already. So my goal is to be able to fit everything in those 4 organizers, as well as in this acrylic organizer. If you can see it, I want to be able to fit things in there. Right now I have 10 drawers, and I do not want makeup in all of those drawers. So I don't know what to do except get started. So yeah, let go. Hey guys, so I figured the easiest thing to do would be for me to just dump everything onto my bed. I dumped everything onto a towel so I don't get makeup all over my bedding. And so yes, these are all of the powders that I had in my drawer. I am just going to zoom you guys in a little bit and kind of go through it a little bit. So these are the first 2 powders that I will be parting ways with. These are the e.l.f. high definition powders. I have one in the shade yellow banana, and oh my goodness, I know it's gonna make a huge mess if I open it. Oh yep, it is. It's so messy. The good thing about this powder is that it's very finely milled. And it does kind of melt into the skin fairly well, but it's just way too yellow for me. And I'm going to try to come up a little bit closer. It's almost fluorescent yellow, and so it just is, it's too yellow for my skin tone, and so I never use it. I never use it anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and part ways with this one. Now this one is just the regular white translucent powder. I use this quite a bit, and I do like it. I don't love it because it does have a little bit of a cast on me, but when I use a setting spray, it does help it to melt into my skin a little bit better. But I like it, but I don't reach for it anymore, so I am going to part with that. Next I have my Ben Nye setting powders, and I want to say that this one, the Ben Nye Luxury Banana Powder, is what started it out for me. I believe that this was the very first powder that I used to set my under eye concealer and to bake. I love this. This is a staple for me, and as you can see, I'm almost out of it. I'm definitely going to keep this. I'm going to use it up. Don't know if I'm going to repurchase it or not, even though I really do love it, but I am going to keep this one. Next I have here the Ben Nye translucent powder in Topaz, and this is basically an all over face powder for me that I can use to set my foundation. I particularly like this setting powder when my foundation is a little bit light and I need to make it fit my skin tone a little bit better. Now I have not used this in forever, but I do really like it. So I think I'm going to hang on to this. I'm gonna try to force myself to use this up. Next, I have here my Laura Mercier setting powder. Absolutely love this stuff. I already have a backup of this, and I am just about out of this powder. It is perfect for setting your under eye concealer. I absolutely love this because it doesn't dry out my under eye area, and it really does melt into the skin. And so I really like this powder. This is definitely a staple for me. I'm just about through with this, so I need to make sure I use this up before I go into my new one. Here is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores setting powder. I really like this, but I am just about out of this, and so I'm going to just toss this container. This was an empty jar of the Bye Bye Pores setting powder. What I have in here now is a mixture of the Ben Nye setting powders in Banana and Topaz. I love to mix the two to set my entire face. When I mix the two colors, it does create my perfect shade, and so I am going to keep this. Next, I have these HD setting powders by Ruby Kisses. I have one in the shade Earth 03, and this one is the banana powder. I absolutely hate this powder. It is a beautiful color. I love the yellow tone of this setting powder, but it just will not blend into my skin. Every time I use this setting powder, it literally looks as if it's just sitting on top of my foundation, and so I'm definitely going to be getting rid of this. And this one is closer to my skin tone, and so I did use this quite a bit to set my entire face when I needed to add a little bit more coverage. But I am just about out of this, but the truth is I would use it up, but I just don't reach for it anymore. So, and I've had it quite a while, so I'm gonna go ahead on and let this go. Now this is another HD setting powder by Ruby Kisses, and it's in the shade 04 Rich. I used to use this powder to set my contour or to bronze my face. I never use this. I never ever pick this up, and so I'm definitely going to be parting ways with this powder. Now this is a setting powder by Fiona Styles. It is the Invisible Finish Loose Powder in 07 to 08. I really like this setting powder. I love the color of it. It's almost a peachy toned setting powder, so it does a really good job at somewhat color correcting underneath my eyes. I am almost out of this powder, so I am going to keep it and force myself to use it up. I don't even know if this powder is still sold or not, or if it's been discontinued, but it really is a good powder. Can't say that I would repurchase it if it is still available, but I did enjoy using it, and I am going to use it all up. Next here I have some powders by Mary Kay. I have 3 of them. This one is in the shade Ivory number 2. This one is in the shade Bronze number 3. And I did use this one a few times to set my contour or to lightly bronze my face a little bit. And this one is in the shade Bronze number 1. I thought this one was close to my skin tone, but it's definitely off. These powders just don't work for me, and I really need to pass them along to someone who could use them. This is my Sacha Buttercup setting powder. This is an absolute staple for me. I absolutely love it. I love to use this to bake and to set my under eye concealer. I really like to use this powder when I want to really brighten underneath my eyes, and yes, I love this, so I'm definitely keeping that. I will be keeping all of these setting powders. This is my Too Faced Peach Perfect setting powder. I just purchased this during the Sephora VIB sale, and I'm absolutely keeping it. Along with Patrick's Powder by MAC, I will be keeping that as well. Now I have this Velvetizer by Urban Decay. I bought this when, I don't know how long ago, and as you can tell, I have not even opened it. I bought this when it was first released months ago and never used it, but I am going to make a concerted effort to use this. Now this is my translucent powder by Kat Von D, and it is just the translucent shade. Let me open it up for you. And I like the color of this powder. I love the color. The color of this powder reminds me a lot of the Laura Mercier powder. It's not white, it's a creamy beigey color. I absolutely love the shade. And let me see if this will swatch for you. If you can see here, it does have somewhat of a sheen to it, and so you really could use this powder as a finishing powder. And it does have a slight cast. It has a slight cast, but I like it. Well, I guess I should say I have a love-hate relationship with this powder. I have to be very careful in how I use this powder. I am going to keep it. I am going to make a concerted effort to use it up, but once I do, I will not be repurchasing it. And yeah, so I am going to keep it. Now these two powders I'm definitely going to be keeping. This is my Hyaluronic Hydra powder by Terry. Definitely keeping this. And this is my Chanel Natural Finish Loose powder. I already have a backup of this powder. I absolutely love it. I am going to come to you guys with more details about the powders that I really love in a completely separate video, but I am going to be keeping these. I have some deluxe sized samples of some Bare Minerals powders. This is the Bare Minerals Mineral Veil powder, and it's an orangey under eye setting powder. It's very correcting in terms of dark circles, but I don't really have problems with dark circles. I've used this a couple of times, but not enough to justify keeping it. So I am going to get rid of this, even though I think it's very nice. Now this is a highlighting powder. I don't know why it's in this drawer, but this is a highlighting powder in the shade Pure Radiance. I'm gonna hold on to this because I really want to try it out before I get rid of it. I don't think I ever used it. And this next one is in the shade Golden Dark. Never used it, and so I am going to part with this. These are my e.l.f. High Definition Under Eye Setting Powders. I absolutely love this stuff. I cannot deny how good these little e.l.f. powders are to set underneath your eye. And it gives a very subtle glow, a very subtle dose of radiance underneath the eye. It really helps improve the look of my under eyes, especially when they're dry. And so I am going to be keeping these. Now this is the Smashbox Halo Hydrating Perfecting Powder in the shade Dark. I really enjoyed using this powder at one time. Now this powder is too dark for me, but I did enjoy using it to contour with, but I have not used it in forever. Forgot I had it, and so I definitely will be parting ways with it. This is the IT Cosmetics Celebration Foundation in the shade Rich. Oh, the top just came off, but I want you guys to look at this. Does this look like it would fit my skin tone? This makes me look ghostly. and I really don't even understand why I still have it in my collection. So this is definitely going bye-bye. Guys, I can go ahead and just show you really quickly everything else that I have, but I am going to be keeping everything else here. This is my Urban Decay Naked Skin Ultra Definition Powder Foundation in the shade Dark. I love this stuff. This is actually my second one. I used one up in its entirety. I'm almost finished with this one. I did drop it and break it, but before I dropped it and broke it, I hit pan on it, and so I am going to put this where I can see it so that I can use it up. I don't think I'm going to be purchasing another one, but I do really like this powder. Here I have this Bare Minerals Translucent Powder Duo. One side is a matte translucent powder and the other side is radiant. I love these. I tried this when I first bought it, and I used it a few times and just put it away and never picked it up again, but I really do like it, and I am going to make a concerted effort to start using this. Now, will I repurchase it when I use it up? I don't think so, but I do like it, and I'm probably going to use this in a get ready with me video and give you guys some more information about this powder if anybody is interested. Here I have two powders by Fashion Fair. The first one is a translucent shade in the shade Sugar Sugar, and it is just a white translucent setting powder. Guys, this powder is awesome. I don't know why I haven't used it in a while, but it melts into my skin. You would think that a powder this color wouldn't work on someone of my skin tone, but I mean, it works beautifully. I mean, it literally is so soft and it just melts into your skin. I mean, it does a wonderful job at setting your under eye concealer as well as your entire face. So I am going to use this up, and this is something that I would definitely repurchase. This is one of the very few white translucent powders that actually work for me. This next powder is the pressed powder in the shade Toffee Caramel, and I really like this. I will use this alone. I'll use this for a no makeup type of look, just to even out my skin tone a little bit and add a little bit of coverage and to somewhat mattify my skin. Now, I have hit pan on this and I will use it up, but I will not repurchase it. The two negatives about this powder is that it can oxidize on me and it does transfer. I have here, of course, my staple MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Dark, and I love this as a finishing powder. Absolutely love it. This one I just opened. Yeah, this one is empty. I need to put this to the side so I can return it back to MAC. This is my MAC Studio Fix powder in the shade NC50, and that is what that looks like. I have just about used it up, and so I am going to make a real effort to finish using all of this powder. Here I have this MAC Soft Focus Shaping Powder in the shade B45. I think this powder has been discontinued. When I first purchased it, I really enjoyed using it, but I started to notice that, I don't know, I use it to set my under eye concealer, but it does crease. It does not completely set my under eye concealer. So when I use this, I have to use a different powder to set the concealer, and then I use this to brighten underneath my eyes. So I am going to keep it and use it up. I don't know if it's been discontinued or not, but it's definitely not something I would repurchase. These are all my finishing powders that I absolutely love. This is my Guerlain Meteorites in the shade number 4. This is also by Guerlain. This was a limited edition set of meteorites. I really do love it. Now this is the pressed version of the Guerlain meteorites in the shade number 4 golden, and this is what that looks like. I love this as an all over setting powder. I love it as a finishing powder. Sometimes I will just use this when I'm not wearing any makeup. I will, you know, do my skincare routine, put on my moisturizer, and just take a big fluffy brush and use this all over my face. I absolutely love it. I do the same thing with these meteorites as well, and this is what the meteorites look like. Same color, except this one is in the pressed form, and I love the way they smell. Oh my goodness, it smells like roses. Now if you don't like the scent of roses, you probably won't like the way these smell, but I absolutely love it. Now this is also new to my collection. This is the Lancome Absolute powder in the shade golden. This is a finishing powder, and I will be coming to you guys with more information about this powder. Now this is a finishing powder by MAC. This was part of the Kelly Osbourne collection, and it's in the shade Jolly Good. Now this powder, when you first look at it, it looks as if it wouldn't work for me, and at first it didn't, because I didn't know how to make it work. When I swatch it, you can see that it's very, very pink. And there you go. It's very, very pink. But what I found out is that if I use it with a fluffy brush and use it as an all-over setting powder or finishing powder, do you see that nice sheen on the back of my hand? It gives a very, very subtle radiance to my skin when I use this with a fluffy powder brush as a finishing powder. So now that I have figured out how to use it, I am going to keep it in my collection and continue to use it. Now this is a blush by Charlotte Tilbury. I actually got this blush in my Beautylish Lucky Bag last year, and when I got it, I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to use this. It's not going to work for me. And I was going to give it to my mother, and you know what, I still may give it to my mama. I think I will. If she wants this, and if she's able to use this as a blush, I will give it to her. But that being said, I have figured out that this powder works for me as an all-over finishing powder. I've even used it to set the concealer underneath my eyes, especially if I use a concealer that's a little bit too yellow. The tone of this powder really balances it. And so when I swatch it, you can see that it is a peachy pink shade. It's a very peachy tone shade, and I don't know if you can see that on my hand or not, but it has a lot of peach in it, so it does fairly well at somewhat blurring out the discoloration on my skin when I use it with the big fluffy powder brush to kind of finish my overall makeup look. So, and then last but certainly not least is my Laura Mercier Candle Glow Sheer Perfecting Powder in shade number 3. Again, this is a finishing powder. I absolutely love it, just to add a little bit of radiance to my overall makeup look and to just kind of blend everything together. And so yes, definitely will be keeping that. So I just decluttered my face powders. I just love it when my makeup is organized. Yay, things are coming together.